All right, everyone, it is Dokkan time again, and today we will be going over the build for the Super EZA LR INT Gohan. So yes, he is the first summonable LR in this bloody game for after 10 years, and he gets his Super EZA today, at least at the time of recording today. So if you watch this video, you'll see that there are some clear defining differences between this Gohan and the new Carnival Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. They are actually very similar on how they should be operating and how much damage they can do, and basically the same teams too. They're very similar. But yeah, I do not have a team suggestion build for this one. I have found that the team suggestions do take me a lot of extra time. And I probably am going to have to find a way to streamline it a little bit better, or it'll have to be made into almost an entirely different video. And I haven't really touched on a perfect solution to that. But anyways, I digress. So let's just kind of try to get into it and mosey on along. So this Gohan's 200% leader options are going to be like Kamehameha family Kamehameha, Beast Gohan, of course, Glorio, Double Glorio is a fantastic team, actually, and my preferred for both of this Gohan and the new Gohan. And then that's about it, in all honesty. He is 220% on the Vegito lead, as he should be Earth Protecting Warriors and Earthbred. I think he is, yeah, he's Earth Protecting and Earthbred, so that makes him 220, 250 on the Vegito team. So that is a good option to be running him as a leader as well if you want to maximize that. But I think you'll actually see that you're going to get a lot more defense increase just from Double Glorio. It's really weird how calculations go, but a Double Glorio off-turn rotation is giving this Gohan more damage and defense overall. It is a little weird. Or it's about the same, actually. It's pretty close. It is pretty close to the same rough numbers. So, but anyways, let's just kind of mosey on along here. So after his Super EZA, remember, Super EZAs do not change the super attack or the leader skill. You're just kind of stuck with whatever the passive skill has changed. But if you didn't know, this Gohan is a INT type Ki +4 120 leader. He raises defense on his 12 key, and he greatly raises his attack and then raises his defense for 1 turn on his 18 key. No, he doesn't stack. Defense plus 258%. Actually, does he stack? I don't think he stacks. Defense 258%. Changes key spheres from Tech to Int and randomly changes key spheres of a certain type except Tech and Int to Rainbow key spheres. He receives an additional Ki +2 per key sphere obtained. He also supports superclass allies by attack and defense plus 40%. And when there is an extreme class enemy, all enemies defense minus 40% and chance of evading enemies attack plus 40%. When attacking with 12 or more key, defense 158. For every key sphere obtained, he gets an additional attack plus 50%. And then 3 or more key spheres obtained, attack 150. Chance of performing a critical hit and damage reduction of 50%. 7 or more key spheres obtained, 158% attack. Chance of performing crit plus 50%. 10 or more key spheres, another attack 158, and then 15 or more key spheres, another attack 158%. And one time only, when HP is 58% or less starting from the 4th turn of start of the battle, changes all key spheres into INT, and then damage reduction rate is 30% before attacking. So that's a lot to take in for this one singular unit. Obviously, he used to be a nuker, and he still is a nuker, in all honesty. This is very much a nuking unit, as he does get 50% attack for every key sphere you obtain. Moving forward with how you use this unit, I would highly suggest you aim for 7 key spheres, if not just 3 minimum, because once you hit 7 key spheres, he auto crits. Automatic critical attack. Yes. If you get 7 key spheres, he will auto crit 100%. Because these 2 points right here with the 3, hold on, let me get my little pointer out here. So with 3 or more key spheres, you're going to get a chance of forming a crit plus 50%, and you'll get 50% damage reduction. But then you have 7 or more key spheres, you'll get a bonus attack 158 and another proccing additional to your critical hit. So that means both this crit and this crit are getting put together, and you have a 100% crit chance. So then after that, 10 and 15 key spheres, you're just getting more damage. So he's very good. He's actually very good. The one thing I will tell people to remember is that he does have this damage reduction rate of 30% before attacking. Keep an eye out, obviously. If you hit a point in the battle where all the key spheres change into intelligence, this means this proc. In that one instance, you throw him into slot 1 and he has 80% damage reduction. I can tell you right now, he will tank just about everything except for a crit. So if you throw him against like Frieza or something, one of the Frieza fights that do like max damage, he's not going to tank that, obviously. But 4 million, he will actually crit if you have, or he will actually tank as long as you actually have like a full HP bar at that point. And you really should, because once you collect all the intelligence key spheres, your HP should go skyrocketing up, in all given honesty. And it's only 58% or less HP. And I know that sounds like, that is a lot of HP lost, but that's more than half your HP bar. So when the full field of orbs change into INT, that's pretty much going to get you all of your health back. So I do think he's very safe when this happens, and I do think he is still pretty safe. But let's go double check to make sure, and we're going to actually go over and take a look at the defense stats for him right now. Compliments of Halvard. Thank you, dude. So he is pretty simple. He is pretty simple. His start of turn defense is only about 300 to 350. And then post super, he'll be at 1.1. And then if he actually double supers, he'll get up to 1.4 million defense. So from what I can tell, Halvard does not calculate on a 220 basis. He doesn't calculate on off-turn support, but he is counting 40% support. So judge accordingly to what you have on rotation, what off-turn rotation you have. If you're on a 220 lead, if you're on a 170 lead, be very careful if you're on a 170, because if you're on a 170, and even if this Gohan is rainbowed, like with this keeping in mind, you're going to have less than 1 million HP post just one super. So I do feel like with 50% damage reduction, if he pulled out a double super, he could actually tank a 3 million super for not necessarily double digits, but like less, like 100k maybe. He'll take maybe 100, 200k from a 3 million super because he's got 50% damage reduction, so he cuts the super's attack in half. So I do think he is very good defensively still, even though this does look low. But we have so much off-turn support and bigger teams to help out that I think you can buff this Gohan enough that he'll be actually pretty safe, especially if he double supers. So I don't think he's that bad. I do see a lot of people hating on him. But anyways, let's just kind of go into the builds. I want to get into these builds finally. So with 55% Gohan in mind, 55% is kind of like, you have to treat 55% units like they are as is kind of a thing. You can't really improve them too much with their hidden potential at 55%. You just kind of got to roll with what they got. And this Gohan doesn't have much at 55. So I would honestly suggest just chucking more dodge at him, because that's all he has. It's either more dodge, or I wouldn't even blame me if you just threw an attack orb on him, or even a level 5 additional, if you so choose. But honestly, it's not going to do much. Remember, a level 5 additional is only a 10% chance to actually attempt to additional, and then you still have another whole coin flip chance of it even being a super, and it could just be a normal. And even if you equip a level 5 attack orb to this guy, I don't think at 55% you're really going to feel much of a difference. Like at 55%, he's already got lower stats. So one attack orb isn't going to make or break the situation, in my personal opinion. So yeah, just kind of roll with it on 55%. But once you actually have dupes, I would highly suggest moving into the full additional route, because this dude does auto crit, so there's no point in giving him more crit. And then putting the rest of the hidden potential into dodge, because there's no reason to give him crit, so you might as well just put the rest into dodge. But I do view this guy as a primary damage dealer. I do suggest giving him an attack orb if you actually have him duped up. Definitely give him an attack orb, give him additionals, and really hope to RNGs is that he actually does get an additional off, so that he is very safe defensively. Otherwise, you might have to worry a little bit if you got like a 3 million, 4 million super coming at you. It could be a little bit scary. So just keep that in mind. But there is also the idea that you could just say, screw the additional, I just want this guy to do some damage, otherwise he needs to dodge or die. Go ahead and give him dodge, that's fine, and then put the rest into additional. I do suggest still giving him an additional orb though, but you know, to each their own on how they're going to choose to build units, but I do still suggest giving him an additional orb. I do want to just put in my 2 cents here that I do feel like this Gohan is primarily, as a job, is a nuker. So if you're going to take this Gohan into a fight, you're either going to float him off and kind of rock the support that he has, which he does support allies by attack and defense of 40%. You know, I do think that's pretty good. He's got, he already has a 40% chance to dodge. He's lowering enemies' defense by 40%. I would say he's a straight up nuker. Like, he really is a nuking kind of support unit, and I think that's pretty good. Especially since he can auto crit as long as you get 7 orbs. So if you are like an old player like me, you probably already have crit built into this guy. Just try to pivot as much as possible and give him more additional for survivability, and just bring him along to just a nuke. That's it. He's a nuker at the end of the day, and I don't think that's too much different now. But he is a little bit more viably able to be used. And especially, not necessarily like in all of the 10th anniversary content, but definitely in all the older content in the game. Pre 10th anniversary, this guy could, he could be fun to use in some of these older fights. I can see that. I can definitely see newer players having fun with him too. So, but anyways, that's it for the builds. Let's go ahead and move on to his role tips. As I said, this guy is very similar to that of the physical Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. In fact, I would honestly go ahead and tell you, I basically copy-pasted this one right here. Like, this is basically the exact same build as the physical Super Saiyan 2 Carnival Gohan. He is a damage dealer primarily. Your leader you're going to want to rock with him is Double Glorio, or maybe even Beast Gohan as a leader for a team for this guy to be on. And you can definitely use the new Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, as he is on full power, and this is one of the 220 leaders that you can put this Gohan onto. And then, of course, you can go on to the Tech Vegito team, 220, 250 lead, and then you can go to the Family Kamehameha Gohan as well. Wouldn't necessarily be a bad team to be throwing him on through his standby. And as far as partners go, Super Saiyan Goku, definitely a good partner, slot 1 partner, because that's what this guy wants, is he wants a slot 1 partner. I will say that the Tech Vegito definitely needs to at least exchange into Vegeta first to be in slot 1 for this Gohan. Otherwise, you almost need to float him or keep him off on the opposite rotation as this Gohan. And then Daima Goku is actually a very good unit to be partnering with him just because of the support. Even if it's not on the same rotation, he can definitely be on off-rotational support because of his damage buff. People fight me on this on the Super Saiyan 34 Goku, but I do think Super Saiyan 34 Goku can go in slot 1 every now and again. 70% chance to dodge at the beginning of on his Super Saiyan 3 form, and then once he actually gets even just a couple stacks in his Super Saiyan 4, he straight up can go into slot 1. It just really highly depends on the fight you're going into. You have to be very wary. And then, actually, once again, Tech Broly is just a slot 1 unit that's going to link up really well with this guy and be a nice slot 1 tank to be supporting this Gohan with. And once again, best slot position is going to be slot 2 for this Gohan. I would not suggest putting him into slot 1 unless this 58% or less starting from the 4th turn procs. If this procs, you can safely put him into slot 1. Otherwise, he is actually kind of like a actual supportive type unit. He's super class allies are getting attack and defense of 40%. All enemies are losing 40% defense. You could definitely just chuck him into the 3rd slot and let him do some damage every now and again, and while supporting allies at the same time. So he's kind of a jack of all trades. He can do a lot of different things, but I think at the end of the day, he's just a straight up nuker, nice, decent damage dealer. I'm kind of happy I can use him again for a little bit. So, but I think that's gonna go ahead and be it. I'm not gonna lie. I think that's gonna be it. So anyways, guys, let me know how you're going to build this Gohan. Are you going to go primarily for the dodge route? Or are you going to straight up go full into additional and give him some damage and let him do some work? So let me know what teams you're going to be rocking with him. And thank you for watching. Have a good day and a good night.